Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Heidy. Welcome everyone today to our webinar series number 2. And first of all, welcome all of you to be here. We know that sometimes we have to work and we have to do other things, but thank you so much for being here, for taking your time for this amazing presentation that we have today. And remember that this webinar series is organized by ECUATESOL, the Ecuadorian Association of Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages. And this webinar is sponsored. We are official affiliates of TESOL International. And these webinars, or this round of webinars, the series of webinars, are sponsored by Yachay Tech University, Universidad Nacional de Educación, and ITEP. Okay. Um, Please, I would like, before we start, to present some QR codes about our official sites and official social media, so you can follow us and you can be updated about all the information about how we as association we are doing and working with another institutions. So this is the QR code from the ECUATESOL website, so you can check. You have there a space where you can put your suggestions, your comments, the evaluation of the webinars, and if you want to become a member as well, you can find the official link as well in our website where you can become an affiliate of ECUATESOL. And remember that you can be a member without any charge. We follow the same principles of TESOL International, so we want to promote and we want to encourage all teachers for professional development and improve in your English proficiency skills as well. This is our official account in social media, in Instagram, so you can follow us as well in Instagram and you can be updated about all news and information related about ECUATESOL. This is the QR code for the registration. So if you are not a member yet, but if you want to become a member, you can scan the QR code and you can follow us in and you can register as a member. And finally, this is our official ECUATESOL network. We are in the WhatsApp, so we are sending information or we are providing information about the coming events that we have in ECUATESOL as well. So please, you can scan this code and you can be part of our network. This is our official Gmail account, equatesol@gmail.com. So if you have any comments, suggestions, or if you have any questions, you can always send an email and you can be informed. Now, another important detail is that we have our YouTube channel as well. So all these amazing webinar presentations that we have had since January of this year, including this one today. At the end of Heidy's presentation, we upload all the webinars. So if you didn't have time or if you couldn't attend all the webinar, you can go back there and you can check. And as well, you can subscribe to our channel so you can find more information about ECUATESOL. So we have had some questions through email, and I would like to clarify that this is a webinar series number 2. Webinar series number 1, we ended on June of this year. So we are preparing to certify and send all the certifications if you were ponente or presenter, or if you have attended all the webinars. According to the number of hours of the webinars that you have attended, maybe in a week you are going to receive through your emails all the certificates. In this round of webinar series number 2, the same thing of your attendance of the webinars, you are going to receive your certificates to your email. The same thing, if you have any questions, any information that you are not very clear, you can always contact us, you can call us, or you can send message in the WhatsApp group or through our official website. Okay, no, not to let everybody wait. Today we have an amazing presenter. I had the honor that she was my student, and now she's an amazing professional. And a part of that, she is our main ECUATESOL volunteer, and she's always helping us with the organization, the logistics, and everything in our events. So it's my honor to present today Lady Mogrovejo. Lady Mogrovejo is a passionate English teacher who has worked in several contexts and several institutions, including private and public schools, universities in the rural area. She has experience in teaching and training teachers in rural areas in EIB schools. Currently, she's working at the Unidad Educativa Fiscomisional Luisa de Jesús Cordero in the bilingual program at the Instituto Tecnológico INAN as an English professor. And as I mentioned before, she is an ECUATESOL volunteer. She is also involved in projects related to migration and interculturality, developing projects and products to address the needs of vulnerable communities. She holds a bachelor's degree in English language teaching and at the Universidad Nacional de Educación, and she's currently pursuing a master's in TEFL at University of the Especialidades Espíritu Santo. And a part of all of that, she's an amazing friend and an amazing person. So today we have the honor to have Heidi here with us, and her topic of presentation will be teaching English in context of vulnerability. Do your best with less. So Heidi, thank you so much for accepting our invitation for presenting today. And I know that your webinar will be amazing. So all yours. Welcome, Heidi, again. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's begin the webinar. I'm really glad to see you all here, and I'm happy that you're interested in this super topic that is, teaching in context of vulnerability. My name is Heidy Mogrovejo, and let's do our best with less. I know that we don't always have the ideal conditions to teach. So first of all, I would like you to write in the chat, what is the most challenging thing of teaching where you work? Is it the infrastructure, maybe the lack of materials, maybe it's your students' behavior, maybe it's your own self-esteem? Tell me in the chat. What is the most challenging thing of teaching where you work? I will be reading your answers. Let's wait for a few seconds. Hey, people, don't forget. Okay. So we have to teach based on a book. Yeah, that can be kind of like restrictive. What else? Sometimes when we just follow the book, we cannot be ourselves. So maybe just go off the board and try something new. Let me see, what else do you have here? Teach bases without technological resources. Yeah, I know technology now we have become so dependent, but I have some pretty good ideas here. So you can do it without technology, but having still a very good lesson. To do with the students' behavior, I know, what a hell, but don't worry. There is lots of things we can do about it. To inspire the students, yeah, we need to inspire students to be like the leaders of the future because now teachers are the leaders of the present, but we have to prepare the leaders of the future. Not having internet and electricity. Oh, yeah, I know. Electricity, last year, without electricity, it was super complicated to teach. Teach without didactic materials. Yeah, that's also, well, let's broaden the definition of didactic materials. But I see you have really interesting points of view, and I will tell you, like, I've been in several schools, as Daniel mentioned, and I have I have been in contexts where there aren't even tables, like, we don't have even in school, but we have to teach. So let me show you some of the things that I have learned through my experience and also by talking with other teachers from other schools. So first of all, I want to share with you this beautiful thing oh, wait a second. I want to show I want to share with you this beautiful picture I saw in Yucatan when I was in Mexico a few years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. So I was in this museum and I saw this beautiful, beautiful piece of art. And it says, Educación para todos. Necesitamos maestros que piensen, hablen y escriban en maya. El arte más el conocimiento es igual al saber. La educación comienza en casa y los museos son parte de nuestra educación. So, as you can see, people who are really successful in education, like for communities, education is not only at school, it's also part of how we interact with the community. And I think this is really beautiful because the moment I saw this, I was like really inspired. Because at that moment, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. But when I read this, oh, believe me, I felt like so happy to see that there are children, there are parents who actually still believe in education and they want their teachers to be their best. And first of all, I want to continue with this. I know we sometimes love our profession so much, we say, like, oh, teaching is the best profession in the world. And yes, we are teachers, but we cannot solve all the problems. We cannot solve them all. That's sad, but it's the truth. However, by creating innovative classes, we can make small changes that can make our job easier. So let's see how little things can make your life way better. So first of all, I want to begin with this section called Helping Our Students Through Learning Materials. That was one of your concerns. So let me show you what you can do. Whoops, not this. Oh, my computer. Yeah. So first of all, let's begin with my personal favorite, the magic boards. So this is like super easy to do. You can let your students create their own boards and you can use them for everything. All you need, as you can see in the pictures, and here I have it. It's a cardboard, a plastic linen, and a whiteboard marker. Super easy. What you have to do, as you can see in the tutorial, you just put your cardboard into the plastic linen. You put it in, and there you have your whiteboard. Easy. Each student can have their own whiteboard, and you can use it like for infinite possibilities. For example, if the teacher asks, what is the past of the verb drink? Your students write their answer and they show you. Or if the teacher asks you, for example, which is the best network for teachers, for English teachers in Ecuador, you can write ECUATESOL. And you show it to the teachers. And see, you can reuse it as many times as you want. It's really good because students get this sense of gamification and it's really affordable. It doesn't take much time to use it. And believe me, my students, they loved it. Then we have board games. In this one, I recommend you to choose a template from the internet and use it to review. Board games are super good for reviewing. Just choose a template, like for example, the ones we can see here in the pictures, but please do not write anything on the template. Do not put questions like, I don't know, write a sentence with the present continuous. Because if you do that, then you won't be able to reuse it in the future. My personal suggestion is that you print the template and then you use cards like the ones we see here. You use these cards and you put the questions in there. So for example, in one of the squares, you can put like, pick a card. The students pick the card, solve the task, and then they can move on. You need a dice, obviously, and then tokens. And the tokens can be anything. As you can see in these pictures, we have coins, we have candy. Someone even used, I saw once, they were using like dots. It can be whatever you want. And you can reuse it for any kind of topic. Then we have recyclable materials. Sometimes we're pobrecitos because, teachers, money is not our strength. So what can you use? Materials like cardboard, bottles, paper, and you can create class materials. And you can even let your students create these materials. Remember that quality doesn't need large amounts of money. For example, look at this beautiful board my students from Tercero B did. It's all made of recyclable materials, like these egg cardboards, the plastic bottles, and it's really beautiful. Also, my students from the Kichwa project, look, they did these dies with the emotions. They used cardboard, foam mix, they used paper, even this little TV using these like plastic tubes. They did it and it was amazing. The children loved it. And here, when I was working with Econai, look, we did dice, we did origami, We did the taptanas, bookmarks, everything with recyclable materials. And it's really good because we are not only helping the environment, but we are also fostering creativity with our students. Also, you can have reality. Now, you may say, but we live in Ecuador. Where can we get these materials? Because we don't live near the US. It's not like in Mexico where you can like cross Tijuana and you get to San Diego. It's not like that. But luckily, in Ecuador, we have a lot of foreign people who sell this kind of stuff in secondhand stores. For example, these talking cubes I use a lot with my students. I got them like for $2 in a secondhand store. Also, these books over here and these flashcards about the phonics, they are $2, $1 if you know where to look for. If you go, for example, in city centers like cities in Cuenca or Quito, you will find this kind of stuff. Or you can also use material created by universities. For example, this series, my favorite ones, Orion and Isabella's Adventure in Ecuador, you may have already heard of it. Daniel gave a talk about this a few weeks ago. And it's really nice because you have really good English, easy to understand, aligned to the Ecuadorian curriculum, and also it fosters our identity as Ecuadorians, which I think is super important. And also, I know we sometimes need extra support and my personal recommendations. First of all, look for extra help online. Like, for example, I don't know how to interact with students, for example, with autism. I wanted to connect with this student who had autism, but I wanted to like really be on her shoes. So I found this book over here, really nice author. She explains like how people with autism actually think in simple words that we can understand because she has autism. And it really helped me a lot to connect with this student, and I was able to design materials that were adapted to her needs. And also, I noticed, just like Anita told us in the first webinar we had in ECUATESOL, when you make a classroom more inclusive, then everything becomes easier for everybody. And sometimes you just need like little extra help. For example, if you see this chart, we have like the alphabet, but sometimes our students struggle. For example, my university students, they struggle a lot with words because they don't want to sound dumb. They are like, teacher, but we are adults. We don't want to sound funny. And I'm like, but that's okay. So what I decided to do is use this kind of materials. You see, it's like the sound we use in Spanish. Is that some of them say I say like no, say a. So they read it like this, and it becomes a huge support for them until they get more confidence. Now, let's go with active participation. That was another of your concerns. How can I motivate my students? How can I make them participate? Because believe me, it's horrible when we have a class where no one wants to participate. It feels terrible. Mm. First of all, I want to tell you that you don't have to do all the work. Let them create their own materials. Let them create flashcards, board games, books, songs that can be used by them and also by other students. This gives them autonomy and motivation and also lets them explore the language. For example, these books over here was a project from my segundo de bachillerato, chicos, and they had this task. I told them, okay, I want you to create some stories. I want you to create storybooks, but I want them to be inclusive. So they had to learn, Braille language, and they were also exploring new terms, new things to make the books really useful for the community. And they were like, teacher, is this okay? Teacher is like that. And at the end, they acquire more vocabulary and structures. And I'm a huge gambler. I love gambling. And I decided to do this thing called the learning casino. And the students had in groups, they were divided and they were given a topic. And I told them, okay, I want you to create a game in which your friends can practice that topic that you have. So they made these, like, for example, they were learning process vocabulary and they did this twister thing. They also did board games. So you see, they had fun, they learned a lot, and they got really good results in their exams. Also, you can encourage different forms of expression. I know in writing we are usually like, oh, please write a paragraph about this topic. That's boring. Why not let them draw comics, write poems, compose songs, things that they can actually use to express their feelings and the realities of their world. For example, here I have an activity that is a vocabulary activity. This is a and this is a activity that my friend Claudia, who is here, hi Claudia, she did to teach Quechua to our students at university. And it was really nice because they were using the seeds to form the vocabulary words, and at the end, that really stuck on them. Also here with also my bachillerato students, they were drawing comics about the legends that we have in Ecuador. And it was really fun to see their perspective of legends, how they imagine these popular characters. And sometimes when they do expositions, let them be creative. I know we sometimes, when we think about expositions, we like just think about, the classic slides or papers that we put on the board. But let them express. For example, my students, as you can see here, they did these cubes about the Puroa culture, and they had all the information in these cubes, and the other kids were interacting with them, learning about the culture. And it was really nice because they were super creative. And this student over here, he loves to create websites for everything. So in one of these cubes, there was a QR code, and it was a link to a website where you can learn more about Poroa culture. It was really nice. Also, I encourage you a lot to teach through arts. I was talking with a friend a few weeks ago, and she told me like, my students have zero knowledge in English. I don't know how to do, and they're about to graduate. And then we were looking for solutions, and she told me like, "Oh, you know what I have noticed? They really respond to songs." And she started to teach them through songs. And they were like, "Okay, this month we are going to learn this song." And they started to improve their pronunciation a lot. They acquired a lot of vocabulary, and then they got confidence. And when you're going to pick a song, please make sure it is trendy, because sometimes we as teachers, we don't have the trendy things, but ask them like, oh, what's the latest song in TikTok? Maybe that could help you to find something. Look for something according to the level. Obviously, you're not going to put them to sing Bohemian Rhapsody if they are A1 level students. That's not possible. And also look for something that is relevant for the target grammar and vocabulary. Maybe make sure that it has a couple words that they should know. And you can even let them play some instruments to get more engaged. For example, I love using chachas. It's really good. It's a really nice instrument to play. It's super simple to use, also drums. And students love it because it's more kinesthetic and they connect more with the song. Now, about inspiration that some of you were telling me, let them explore new topics and possibilities. English is more than a subject. It is something unique. Incorporate culture, science, history, any other subject into your lessons to open your students' minds. For example, as you can see here, my students, we were learning about science and this kind of stuff, like motivating people. And I was like, I want you to make this project about scientists, but not any kind of scientist, Ecuadorian scientists. But I already foresaw what was going to happen. I was like, oh, they are going to choose the most popular ones. So I made a list with some scientists and I gave to them. And I was like, okay, so this is the person you're going to research about. And one of these was Sisa Chalan, who was a really nice person. She was a really nice scientist. Unfortunately, she died a few months ago. But my students did like this kind of tribute to her. And as you can see in the picture, they even did like these pills to show what was her contribution to science. And at the end of the project, they were like, teacher, maybe I want to be a scientist. Maybe I want to study in the same university as she did. And I was like, go ahead. You should be a scientist. You should be whatever you want. Also, you can share them opportunities to participate in extracurricular activities or to research about inspiring things or inspiring people. For example, with these kids, I told them like, okay, you're always complaining about school, you don't like the subjects. I want you to create your own subject, something that you think is relevant for you. And they designed this super nice curriculum about economy and finance for bachillerato students. And it was really nice to see how they were incorporating things that they actually care about, like paying taxes, like how to create a business. I know they have the entrepreneurship subject in bachillerato, but they felt like it wasn't enough. So, by these little things, you show them that English is actually useful because I have heard a lot students saying like, teacher, but in Ecuador, we don't even speak English. Like, that's not even the native language. Why should we learn about it? So if you use this kind of projects, they will find the answer by themselves. Now, let's go with my favorite part, the allies. As teachers, we need allies. In education, allies are super helpful. And I want you to get in contact with universities, with NGOs, with embassies, with the GATS, with the communities, because they are the ones who are going to help me, who are going to help us. For example, here with the British Embassy, I had the chance to present a project about the recyclable materials I showed you before. And it was really nice because they gave us diffusion, and we were able to even have a talk with the Ministerio del Ambiente. It was really nice. Um, Also with UNAE, with the intercultural bilingual major, we went to some schools in Saraguro, in Chimborazo, and we gave them and we designed these signs for them. Obviously, we trained the teachers, we gave the students some workshops, but we also gave them materials and designs that were trilingual, We have the name of the grade in Spanish, in Quechua, but also in English. And this is a really important visual aids because their students are going to like indirectly, unconsciously, they are going to get these words. Also, for example, these beautiful people here, they are from the God of Jerusalem in Biblian. If they are here, greetings to you. And they called us, like they say, like, in our schools in Jerusalem, we don't have any teachers. All our schools are like multi-grade or like just one teacher schools. So we don't have an English teacher. Can you please come and teach here? And we did it for a few months. We had really good results and it was a really nice experience. And we even got certificates. So we were really happy about it. And also the communities can help you a lot. When we were working with Jerusalem, we wanted to do something nice for Christmas because, it's really important for the children. And the community, they told us like, oh, we can give you like some cookies, some candies. And together we did this like, um, these candy bags for the children, as you can see here. This is the whole school. Like there were 7 children were the whole school. And thanks to the help of the community, we were able to give them a really nice Christmas. Also, working with UNAE, we were able to teach children from housing programs some English and also some abilities for life. They were able to interact with other children, and it was really significant for them, not only because they were like, how can I tell you this? At the beginning, they didn't want to participate. They were like, I don't want to be here. But at the end, they were the ones leader in the groups, like being the leaders of those groups. It was really nice. And also, you can create, for example, this little thing, this little sign you see here is part of a big project we did with the US Embassy. Also, teacher Daniel was involved in this. It was called the Huerto Classroom. It was really nice because the children were learning how to create, urban gardens in their schools, and they were able to create their own food while also learning English. So don't be afraid to ask. Like the worst thing that can happen is that they tell you no. And if you just know how to ask, you will get like super good opportunities for your schools. Now, let's go with the infrastructure. As teachers, sometimes this can be kind of tough. So, first of all, let's consider something. As teachers alone, it's very difficult to do things, but when we cooperate, we can do greater things. For example, here, as I told you, we created these signs because we cooperated not only with our group that were in this project, but also with the school to see what were their needs. And at the end of the school year, the teachers received these signs that are still used in this school. Also, when I started working in private schools, I noticed that they have internet, but not in the usual way. I had to buy this little thing that is to connect your computer to the internet to survive. And then, as the school year went on, the HDMI cable broke in some classrooms. So what we did as teachers to survive that school year is that we all cooperated to buy a cable and we were all sharing it. So if you share these kind of things, first of all, it is way less expensive. And second of all, you create this sense of community that, teachers, we really need friends to survive in school. Now, and I want to share with you this thing I learned a few months ago that I was taking a course on Afro-Ecuadorian education. And part of their model is that you have to take learning outside the classroom. And it doesn't mean like just going to field trips, but it means also bringing in people who are from outside. Because Afro-Ecuadorians believe that your knowledge should be useful. Like if you cannot share it with the community, if you cannot do anything with it, then it's not valuable. So thinking that, I decided to do these little things. And I said like, yeah, let's take it outside the classroom. For example, here, my tercero de bachillerato students, they had this virtual exchange with students from Mexico. And as you can see here in the computer, they were having a Zoom call with a teacher from Mexico, and they were learning about the Mexican culture. And they were able to even consider new opportunities, like maybe teacher, I could go to study in Mexico. And I was like, yeah, sure you can. I will help you to find a scholarship because you are amazing. Also, one time, these were our students from Jerusalem, and they were like, teacher, we have this Llama entrepreneurship. You should come and visit us. So we did this field trip with the students to visit the Llama entrepreneurship, and we were practicing some English and some Quechua. And they were like so happy to show us what they have done and how they were carrying out their project. Um, Another thing that I can share with you is that sometimes education is going to take you to places you didn't even know it was possible to be there. So, for example, you see this guy over here. I know he looks like an año viejo, but this was my partner in an expedition we did to the Amazon to go and share some knowledge with people from the Amazon. We were doing like this community work, and we were like, I think it was like 4 hours in this boat that we call Peque. And we were going like this. And when the community saw us coming, they were like all on the shore. They were like, hey, teachers, hello, welcome everyone. It was really nice because they actually value the time you take to get to these communities because we were not only bringing the education, we were also bringing food, we were bringing medicine. And it's really good. Like, if you want your life as teacher to be easier, make sure you have a good relationship with the community. And as I was telling you, it's also useful to bring people from outside. So, in rural zones, there are lots of people who think that migration is the key. They think that getting out of the country legally or illegally is the only way to advance economically in the society. So what we did with this project, this is teacher Mariana Rodriguez, Professor Mariana Rodriguez from Universidad Nacional de Educación. She's a super expert in migration. We are actually filming a short documental about this. And she came to the school and she gave the students a talk about the migration routes, what you can do, what are the positive and the negative sides of migration. And at the end of the talk, the students were like, they kept reflecting, like, maybe I shouldn't go, or maybe if I go, I will do it in the legal way. If I want to go to the US, I will do it to study or to work. It was really nice to see how they were reshaping their mindsets. And I think it's something really important as teachers, especially when we are talking about context of vulnerability, because some of these students, they don't have their families anymore because their parents go to the US. Sometimes there are children who stay with their grandparents. I even once heard the case of a child who was completely abandoned. Like his aunts and uncles didn't want to have him. His grandparents passed away. His parents were in the US. So a neighbor had to take care of him. And it was really tough to hear his story. And at the end of this talk, he wanted to share this story with us. And he said, like, I don't want anyone to have to go through the same thing I went to. So, these kind of things, bringing someone to the class can actually help them to rethink choices. And at the end of this class, obviously, they were like, also, oh, teacher, now I'm going to learn English to go to the US legally. And I was like, okay, if that's your goal, then go ahead. I don't have any problem. As long as you learn English, I'm super happy with your decisions. And as I was telling you, sometimes we don't have schools. We have to teach, but we don't have schools. This is super common in the Amazon. Sometimes the school roof just falls, but you still have to go to work. The Ministry of Education is not going to tell you, oh, poor school, there is no roof, so you can take the weeks off. No, that's not gonna happen. So take advantage of the spaces. As for the community, as to the community, can you give me a space to teach somewhere when we can gather? For example, when we got to the Amazon, as you can see, our school was this third floor over here. So we had to take advantage of this space. Obviously, we couldn't use the projector. So we were using like paper, we were using the native plants and everything to help them learn a little bit of what we had planned. Also, well, this was in Taisha. Taisha is like super inside the Amazon. Like you have to get a boat to get here, or even planes. There are places where you only get there by plane. But this other picture is from Walaquiza. We asked for this space to the síndico, and he told us like, yeah, this is where we get the training for all our professionals. Like if the Ministry of Health wants to come to give a talk, they use this space. If universities want to give a talk, they use this coliseum. Now that we were there to help the community with some training about motivation, about tourism, about scholarships, we use this space. And I don't know if you can see in the picture, but that thing over here, that's my projector. It has been my super ally in these adventures I have been through. And if you have the chance to get your projector, and if you want to be an adventures teacher, go ahead. I really encourage it. It's a huge help. So you see, sometimes we don't have desks and chairs, but we have to use what we have. Just make sure that your planning also includes this kind of possibilities. Maybe something happened to the school and you cannot teach there. So look, maybe you can teach outside, or maybe you can look for a different place. Remember, take the learning outside the classroom. If it is not in school, maybe you can look for a different place. Okay, so now let's talk about mental health. You cannot help your students if you cannot help yourself. You must be your only priority. I know this may sound rough, but the school can replace you. The system can replace you, but your family, they cannot replace you. So I need you to be like super good in your heart and in your mind so you can help other people to be feeling good. Let's begin with the little things that we can do. Sometimes we can take professional development. For example, we can help each other. This was in Saraguro. I was teaching the children and the teachers from that school how to use quizzes and Kahoot. And they were like, oh, now I can do this. And since they were working cooperatively, they were like, oh my God, this has been so easy. Perhaps we can do this, we can do that. And they were opening themselves to possibilities. And at the end of the class, they were like, that workshop was so good. I wish we could have more. And I was like, I wish I could have time to do more of this work. Also, you can work with other teachers to create projects. This is again from the Huerto Classroom project. And as you can see, everyone here was cooperating to create their own garden. And this guy over here, he was the agronomer and he was telling like, this is how you use a shovel because, sometimes we don't know how to do it. That's the truth. But we can always learn. And believe me, learning new things can make you happier. Sometimes when I'm depressed, I just take a course. That's why I have so many diplomas. I just take a course and then I feel happy, like, oh, I did it. I achieved something new. I learned something new. And then I just go and tell my students about it. They're like, oh, teacher, you know so many things. And I'm like, yeah, perhaps I have too much time. Also, you can have a support system. For example, right now, ECUATESOL can be your support system because we are always sharing opportunities for scholarships, for projects, for these webinars. It will even be a super good idea, to have a resource bank. So teachers, we can use this kind of things, grow collectively. There is also the British Council, the Open MOOCs. You can use this as your support system. Also use your colleagues. For example, with this colleague over here, I wanted to create a book for my students they were from a Quechua Spanish school. And I was like, okay, I want to create a book for the English class. I want this to be useful to connect to the roots. And obviously the bilingual system, the CIB, they ask you, if you're going to make any materials, it has to be bilingual. It has to include the native language. And I'm like a dog. I can understand Quechua, but I cannot speak it. So I asked my colleague, like, you know Quechua, I know English. So let's support each other to create this project. And I had this support system. So when I called him to something, he was the one in charge of doing it. And we built this body system to create this and other materials. And also get support from your family, from your friends, and even from the community. This was in Saraguro also. Oh, I have so many good memories of Saraguro. I remember after the workshops, after doing these little activities with the children, after training the teachers, after giving them the materials, they were like, teachers, you have been such a great help for our community these weeks. So we have prepared this for you. And this thing here, over here, is called a pinchi. A pinchi is like these huge baskets that are full of rice, cheese, koi, chicken, um, bread. And they even gave us like this huge jar of chicha. And they were like, teachers, this is for you. We want you to enjoy it. And please come back as soon as possible. And I'm still waiting for the time to go back. I'm just waiting for a next big project to go back to this school because they were really, really nice with us. So remember, the community is the key to have a safe environment. I remember in one of the webinars, you guys mentioned that you have some problems with security in your schools. Like sometimes you don't feel safe in schools, and schools should be a safe place. Especially, and these issues are like going up a lot in this current nowadays. So what can you do to build a safe school? Build a safe community first. If you have a good relationship with the community, you are less likely to see bullying cases, to see assaults, to see like maybe like a robber getting into the school. Because if the community supports you, believe me, they will do many things just to keep you safe. I remember talking with a rural teacher. She told me like, this was years ago. She said, like, when I had to teach in Cañar, she said there was this school in which I had to leave. It was full of rats. But because I had a good relationship with the community, they helped me to clean this place. And they even put like a guard for me because the zone used to be like super insecure. But after this teacher came, it became like safer. So you see, a support system can really make your life easier. And super important, take care of your mental and physical health. Surround you with the people you like, do the things you like. For example, I love sharing with children little things. I love making, crafts and things. For example, in this case, we made these notebooks for show our children, and they were like super happy because like they were like, oh, now we have notebooks to study. And it seems like something really simple, but it makes a huge difference. And it made me super happy. And then I was like happy for like 4 months, 5 months until my next project. And it really helps you. And sometimes you just need to take a break and enjoy with the people you like. For example, this is my friend Anita. We went to a pampamesa and we were like super happy because we were going with the community. We were sharing, we were talking with other people. And when a teacher is happy, their lessons go way better because the students can feel your energy. Students are like dogs. They can smell when you're feeling bad. They can smell that when you're feeling happy. They know things. So just try to make this environment the best for yourself. And just know that things sooner or later they will be better. It can be tough, our job is tough, but if we work together, believe me, it's going to be way easier. Now, to close, because I think I have already talked a lot, I want you to know that you don't have to burden yourself with the idea of changing the world. I know that there are lots of movies saying that, oh, teachers must always be the ones changing the world and that teachers must be perfect. Don't burden yourself with that idea. Just do your best with what you have and become the best version of yourself. Sometimes little by little means more than just huge steps. Just be yourself, be happy, and don't let people pressure you. And remember, you're already a wonderful teacher. I have seen lots of you in previous webinars, in other activities, and I know that you are already doing a lot for education. I know that you already have that idea that you want to change, that you want to be a better teacher. So just keep working on that. Keep working on yourself, and you will see that sooner or later things will improve. You will get a better classroom. And if you need support here at the ECUATESOL, we will be more than happy to support you and help you to become that teacher that you want to be. So that will be all. Now, I think that if you have any questions, that I hope you do, we can solve it together. And that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heidi, for showing us everything that you have done. This is a great experience because sometimes, as you mentioned at the beginning of your presentation, sometimes we believe that because we don't have a projector, or we don't have material, or we don't have a book, or we don't have internet, or we don't have a space where we can teach, we cannot teach. But you show us the creative way that we can do and all the resources and materials that we have to be good teachers, no, to be excellent teachers. I know, and I always say, we as ECUATESOL, we believe that Ecuadorian teachers, we are the best teachers of Ecuador, and you have all the support in our association as well. So you're free to join us. You're free to share all the projects, as Heidi was mentioning. Feel as ECUATESOL that be your safe place where we can share. And if you need any help, if you need any support in your classes, we are here to help you. As Heidi, as Marta, as me, as Evelyn that is here, we are a group of professionals that we are always willing to help. So if you have a project, if you want to join a project, if you have an idea, if you have something that you want to make it true, if you want to publish something, if you want to create material, if you want to be a sponsor for something, just let us know. All the ideas are welcome. And the same thing, feel like these webinars are a place for you to present, as Heidi did today, as Evelyn did before, as all of us we are presenting here. If you want, if you have an excellent topic, if you have a topic that you would like to share with all of us, welcome to do it. You can write to us. You can send a message in the WhatsApp group, or you can send us an email and say, okay, I have this topic I would like to present, and feel free to do it, because this is the space that we have for teachers. No, our association is a space, a safe space for teachers. If you want to grow as professional, if you want to share your ideas, because all ideas are welcome. Sometimes we say, no, as Heidi was mentioning before, sometimes we say, okay, I'm a teacher, I'm teaching, but what can I share with everyone else? Your teaching is the thing that you can share with all of us. Sometimes we teach in the coast region, in the highlands, in the Amazonian region, in Galapagos. So sometimes we do excellent things, amazing things with our students, with low resources or with a lot of resources. So those kind of things, if you would like to share with all of us, feel free to do it and come here. Thanks again, Heidi. Thanks again for helping us all the time with the association, but a part of that, helping us today with this amazing presentation, showing us how can we recycle with material, how can we can create material for our students. And sometimes we say, no, we don't have money to buy a board game. We don't have a money to have this, but we can ask our own students to create these board games. This magic board is something that I love to do with my students, even though we have a board and we have projector and everything, but I love to do it because it's a gamified game that we can do it with them and they feel that they are participating in the class. So thanks for sharing all these ideas and for encourage us, especially that not because we don't have like the amazing classrooms or the amazing spaces, we can do amazing things with our students, because everything comes from us as teachers. So thank you very much. And please don't forget to register your attendance. I send the link in the chat box. Don't forget to register your attendance. That's very important, because if you don't register your attendance, we don't know that you were here. So the number of hours of your certificate will reflect the number of webinars that you attend. So it's really important that you don't forget to register your attendance. And don't forget as well that this webinar will be published in our YouTube channel. So you can find in YouTube ECUATESOL, you can subscribe and you can watch. If you didn't have the opportunity to watch all the series number 1 or all the webinars in series number 2, feel free to be there to check. We have amazing presentations from teachers with vast and experience in teaching. So thanks again, Heidi. I hope to see you soon, and I hope to that you can include me in more of your projects. Looks amazing everything that you do. So thank you very much, all of us, to being with us today. And I will see you next time. Remember, at the end of November, we're gonna have another webinar. So please be updated in our social media so you can have the information and the link for our next webinar. Thanks again, everyone, and have a lovely afternoon, all of you. Bye bye, everyone. Bye,
Hey
Katie.
guys,
Bye
bye
bye.
Bye
bye.
bye. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Please don't forget to register your attendance in the link that is in the chat box. And of course, if you have questions for Heidi, you can go to the YouTube channel and you can post us some questions. I'm pretty sure that she will be checking all your questions and answering to you. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
guys, take care. Don't forget to register your attendance.
Bye. Thank you.